You are now watching Zach Lesage, the best place to learn about competitive Pokemon TCG. Let's get it! Yo, what's poppin' YouTube? Welcome back to the channel, Zach Lesage here. Today we're going to be covering over another new Fusion Strike deck list. Again, with these early lists, I do want to stress out that I will not have as much testing time, theory time, etc. as I normally would when I'm able to play with in real life cards or see the official set list or anything else like that. These are really meant for players to have some early content on so that my lists are used as a skeleton to some degree, or that maybe someone who wants to plug and play and start testing these lists has somewhere to go. I know that there's people that might not necessarily agree with this type of content, but it is one of those things where I do want to try to get it out to the community so they do have access. So when Fusion Strike does drop, they have a certain idea or some kind of guide at the very least. If you like Inteleon VMAX, or if you like any of my content, be sure to give this video a like. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. I just do all this content, put a lot of effort into it, and really just try to bring it for the community. So that being said, let's jump into this deck list and see exactly what Inteleon VMAX is up to. So here we have my Inteleon VMAX list. Now, let's not get this confused with the Inteleon VMAX that we got from Rebel Clash. This is a little bit of a different Inteleon VMAX, one that we got from Fusion Strike, or from the Japanese Fusion Arts or high class deck, whichever set it came from. Regardless, it's a new card that we are getting in our English version of Fusion Strike. So the goal of this deck list is to use Inteleon VMAX to the utmost degree. So I guess before we start off anything, you probably want to know what Inteleon VMAX does. And I do use Justin Basil for my translations. They grab things from Poke Beach and all that stuff, and I mean, I just think it's a really great way for me to look at what these decks are doing, or what these cards are doing. So it has an ability, Double Shooter. So once during your turn, if you pitch a water energy from your hand, you can put 2 damage counters on 2 of your opponent's bench Pokemon. So we're going to be a bit of a sniping deck to really build up for its otherwise weak damage output. Its Gmax Whirlpool attack for water colorless does 70 plus 70 damage if you put an energy back to your hand. The whole goal of this deck is to Rapid Strike energy, since it's a Rapid Strike Pokemon, attach, hit for 140, return the Rapid Strike energy. That leaves us open to abuse Cheryl, so if they hit us for not an instant knockout or anything else like that, let's say they do 250 damage, which would be a fair amount of damage, we could play Cheryl, heal everything off, use Rapid Strike energy again. We could search out Cheryl with Drizzile. If our opponent decides to go Marnie after we put it in our hand, we could use Octillery's Rapid Strike search to search for the Rapid Strike energy. So we have a lot of really cool ways to make that happen. The Inteleon V that we play in this deck, the reason why we play it is because it is a Rapid Strike card. We have access to Surf for a single attack. So Surf on kind of a face level is not really the strongest attack that we have access to, but with Rapid Strike energy, we could use it for single energy attachments. We could also use Double Shooter and Quick Shooting with our Inteleon and Inteleon VMAX to really bring that damage up, so maybe you're able to get that final knockout at the end of the game, and it might just push you over the edge. It also has the importance of being a Rapid Strike card because it's searchable with Octillery, and you could use Keep Calling Sobble to get a Rapid Strike basic Pokemon down on your bench. So it works out amazing. The same way that you could use Sobble to search out Rapid Strike Urshifu V in a Rapid Strike Urshifu VMAX deck. So I don't necessarily think it's the better Inteleon or anything, but in this case, it is better. So going through the cards one by one, the Inteleon VMAX, again, main attacker, going to be able to spread those extra damage counters when necessary, and really allowing you to place damage counters effectively, similarly to a Dragapult VMAX deck. The more control that you have over your opponent's resources and the damage output that you give towards your opponent, the better. While its attack is not necessarily the strongest, you do have the ability to get that energy back, reutilize it. You're not really losing those Rapid Strike energies. They're searchable with Octillery's Rapid Strike search, and you can abuse Cheryl up to 3 times with this deck. I'd almost want to add an extra copy of Cheryl. It's something that I'll have to test with a little bit more when I get my hands on some hardcore testing with this deck. The Sobble Drizzile line allows you to kind of search out whatever you want with Shady Dealings. Of course, we have the Keep Calling Sobble, not the 70 HP Sobble, because we are a Rapid Strike themed deck. You can grab out any of the basic Pokemon here with the Keep Calling ability. Beyond that, we have access to our whole deck with Shady Dealings, search out any of those cards. Quick Shooting has great synergy with the double shooter ability on Inteleon VMAX. And of course, a Shady Dealings Inteleon is good measure because you could even search out a Capacious Bucket, or you could search out Water Energies, or however, whatever you really need to finish off things, maybe a Training Court and a Capacious Bucket, searching out those Water Energies so you can use double shooter more often. Octillery seems to fit in here pretty nicely because the deck is very Rapid Strike themed, and you can search out a lot of things. Maybe you need a supporter, you can grab a Korrina's Focus, or you can grab a Rapid Strike energy, or maybe just any of the pieces you're missing. Cheryl, like I said, has great synergy with these with this type of deck, so I'm about it. Professor's Research, I think, is a great way just for us to get set up. We could discard some resources like Water Energy, or even some of our Pokemon, because we have access to Training Court and Ordinary Rod. I based the rest of this deck kind of among a traditional Rapid Strike Urshifu VMAX deck, or a Sylveon VMAX deck, because those are both Rapid Strike decks. Level Balls, Quick Balls, Evolution Incense really come inspiration from all the Inteleon decks. Inteleon decks in our Sword and Shield to Evolving Skies format. More than 5 of the top 10 decks, more than 50% are Inteleon decks. So as a top player in the game, I'm able to kind of take that knowledge and apply it towards this Inteleon VMAX deck. I figured Escape Rope would be a really good way for us to kind of maneuver around whatever our opponent could throw at us. So it allows us to kind of have a switching out searchable. We don't really need to do too much. We could also retreat with Rapid Strike energy if we really wanted to, but we shouldn't need to worry too much because of Cheryl and just continuously abusing the Gmax Whirlpool, put the Rapid Strike energy back in our hand, use Cheryl, rinse and repeat until our opponent runs out of resources. I always like having a scoop up net when it comes to these types of Inteleon decks, because you're able to kind of lift up and maybe use double Quick Shooting in a turn. Use Quick Shooting, Scoop Up Net and Inteleon with Quick Shooting, evolve a Drizzile, Quick Shooting for a third time, use Shady Dealings on either Inteleon or Drizzile, or it's also used as a way to get in and out of the active spot, or prevent your opponent from drawing extra prize cards. I figured Ordinary Rod would be good here, considering if you have to worry about Training Court by any means, or let's say you don't necessarily want to play Training Court, or you need extra energies back into your deck. Ordinary Rod is a great way to grab some energies back into the deck and use double shooter. You could grab it with Capacious Bucket. I know we only play one copy of Capacious Bucket, but I figure once you get your energies on the discard pile, you're just using Training Court for an extra damage whenever you possibly can. So you kind of get like effectively 4 initial slots of your double shooter ability, because you have 4 energies that you want to just kind of search out throughout the game, using Training Court to abuse it every single turn afterwards, and using Ordinary Rod whenever you need to get those extra spots. At one point I did have an Energy Recycler in this deck. I actually had 2 copies of Energy Recycler. I'm not entirely sure how I feel about that. I also had Tower of Water. I believe that's the right one. The one that allows your Rapid Strike energy Pokemon to retreat for less. I figured that could be pretty cool, but then I didn't necessarily have the opportunity to add those into this deck right away. I felt Training Court was a little bit better. Maybe it's something where I'm going to cut a copy of Training Court for one of those copies. Just have a different stadium. 4 water seems a little bit low. I'd like to add a little bit more. I found this deck was incredibly tight on space. But since you're attacking with Rapid Strike energy, it's one of those things where I felt it was fine to have a lower amount of water, since obviously your main attack is going to be 140 Cheryl, and then you're going to have all the extra damage counters however it goes. So kind of like 2-shotting your opponent's Pokemon. I know 140 plus 140 is only 280, but when you factor in double shooter each turn, that can quickly be 320 damage to a particular Pokemon while placing damage counters with Quick Shooting and the other damage counter placement of damage or double shooter. So I know that's a whole bunch of like run-on sentence, but being able to properly place your damage, I figured like having a lower damage output's fine, and we've seen the success with Dragapult VMAX. So the way that Dragapult VMAX works is you're doing 130 and 5 damage counters anywhere. I think that this deck can do 140 and put 4 damage counters anywhere. And then, of course, you have Quick Shooting as well, so it's really only 1 damage less than what a traditional Dragapult VMAX deck would, without having access to Cheryl and all these other support. So this deck seems to me like it has a lot of options and a lot more support than I think. I even considered cutting a Rapid Strike energy since it's so searchable with Octillery, and you technically really only need 1 for the entirety of the game, maybe 2 if your opponent gets a knockout or snipes one out of your hand with the new Sydney card. But it's something that once I test this deck, I'll try to fine-tune the correct count, but I think this is a solid first take at the deck. I'm beyond hyped to share this with everyone, and hopefully it inspires you to test this deck. I think it's going to be one of the solid decks out there. I mean, Lightning's not the most popular type. We have Inteleon VMAX. We have access to the new Bolton VMAX. I'm not sure exactly if those two are going to be the top decks once Fusion Strike comes out. But Inteleon VMAX certainly seems like a great choice and really efficient, especially considering it has the whole Rapid Strike engine. So again, the list is going to be in the description, and I will put a link to the translations at Justin Basil, the one that I always use, in case my quick kind of rendition of what the translation would be kind of got skipped over. Well, that's what we got going on for this video today, peeps. Hopefully you enjoyed watching this new deck and learning a little bit more about it. Again, like I said, these are early deck lists. I don't necessarily want to say like it's the best list or anything else like that. These are largely theoried decks, things that I've worked with my friends in Discord calls for hours and used all my resources as a professional player. I know not everyone's going to agree with these deck lists, but I really hope that you do enjoy this early content, and that I'm just trying to diversify my content up a little bit. We've covered a lot of the Celebrations decks, a lot of the Evolving Skies decks. Sometimes it's hard as a content creator here, so again, hopefully you enjoyed it. If you did, give this video a thumbs up. If you didn't, let me know in the comments below why you didn't. Let me know what changes you'd make. Let's spark a discussion, and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. That being said, I'm going to go edit this video, so I'll catch up with all y'all later. Have a great one, and I'll catch up with all y'all next week. Peace out. I truly appreciate you taking the time out of your day to watch this video. It means the world to me. And my goal with this channel is to spread my love of the game and knowledge with our entire Pokemon TCG community. If you haven't already, help signal boost this video to other Pokemon TCG fans by liking it, sharing it with your friends, and subscribing to the channel. Hopefully we reach our goals really soon. Check out this recommended video, and have yourself a great day. Thanks.